We're gonna bed starting at three in 3 minutes, right?
Yeah, when that starts, we'll go radio silent.
Yeah.
So
But I'm
if
loading
people,
up. It's loading up right now. So just give it a second.
oh yeah, so does that mean content?
Oh yeah, that's cool. It's not even showing you right now. Yeah. All right, good.
I'm watching now. You don't have it set to private, do you?
No, it's
So all our fans that are that just jumped on right now can actually hear us chatting before our show.
yes. Stop touching that.
Where are the comments section?
Wait, hold on.
I on my phone I got a notification saying we're going live.
Okay.
So it did reach out to my phone account. Oh wait, it says private down there
Where?
under where it says dude live show. Or am I watching our old one?
I
Hold on.
refreshed the browser.
Uh,
Let me go back.
Live now. Okay. Click on it. Click on the YouTube link. Ah, there's our chat. I see it.
be better off just leaving town. My love is here for you and it's not ever gonna change. You think you can leave me, babe? My love is you and it's all the same. Don't be your best friend. Don't be here till the end. I'll make time for sure. It's just something people say to get in bed. When you're all alone and you're feeling like you're safe inside, you check the window, see me, and I'll run and finally hide. I'm on the back street and the alley, don't forget the corner lot. My love is here for you and it's something that you'll have a lot. Don't be your best friend. Don't be here till the end. You'll make time for sure. It's just something people say to get in bed. Don't be your best friend. I'll be here to the end. And I'll make time for sure. It's just something people say to get in bed. In bed. In bed.
Well,
Well,
here we are.
we're live.
We said we'd do it. We did it. Good night, everybody.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah. So welcome to our first live edition of
Dude.
Check This Out. So we said when we got 1,000 subscribers, we would do a live show. And here we are. So
It took us a little bit. I mean, we're at I think over 1,200 now, but yeah.
yep, no nets. So welcome to the train wreck. We got a few people watching, which I'm grateful for. And so if you have any comments, we'll read them and answer any questions that you might have. So what's on the agenda for today, AJ?
Let's see. I think we were going to talk about a little bit about the first time we were aware of music in our youth. What else were we going to talk? Oh, basically like our first purchase. What was the first thing we bought musically, right? To include music like from the music stores, which dates us, or equipment. And when we decided to learn to play.
And if anybody has any answers to, excuse me, our questions or topics, just put them in the comments, and we'd love to hear what your answers are to these. So this is definitely weird. Not
Unedited. I feel like I could swear at any moment.
Yeah, me too. No. So let's see. We do have some questions that we had gotten in some of our comments early on, pertaining to our intro song. I think one person thought it was Tragically Hip, and then somebody thought it might have been another band. what is that? Who is our what's that? Where'd we get our intro song?
Oh, that's from the band Swag, that I used to be in, play guitar and sing. So that was me on vocals.
Yeah, so if you're looking to find that, it's on Spotify and
Everything. It's
Apple,
basically
everywhere. You can stream it, buy it, and look for it. The band Swag, and the album is Milky Panfish.
yeah.
So what do you say we get into our first topic?
Sure. So, Dave, search back into the past and think of the time where you became musically aware.
Musically aware. Well, our family was always musical, as far as not playing instruments, but listening. We had a jukebox in our basement growing up, 1964 Wurlitzer, I believe. And I actually still have that. So we had all the old 45s from the 50s, 60s. Yeah, there it is, up on the screen. You just push the buttons and you can listen to Elvis or whatnot. So music was always on in the background, but the first time that I can remember putting a record on my record player was the Smothers Brothers, of all. uh, they're a comedy act, but they did a lot of music in their comedy. So I think I have a picture of that. Yeah, there we go. It's the Smothers Brothers. They had a lot of goofy songs, and we still listen to that, me and brother and sister. And yeah, good fun. What about you?
Oh, I think it was a kid at school that was bragging, and this was like, I want to say fourth grade. This kid was at school and he was bragging about going to this concert. And he was talking about all these crazy, like, people were doing drugs and it was crazy. And he went to go see the Rolling Stones. This was obviously in the 80s when they were touring then too. I think it was a Tattoo You tour, if I remember correctly. But anyways, he was bragging about like this. And so I went home and I'm like, Dad, have you heard of this band called the Rolling Stones? And he's like, yeah. And like they put on Satisfaction, like the song that they think I would have probably heard, right? And it was like, that's it. That's what the guys were talking about. This was the song. And that was when I just, well, what else do they have? And what other bands? Or my dad went through all the albums that he had from the Rolling Stones. But I remember that being like the moment when I realized that, wow, this whole thing, music out there, and it's pretty cool.
That's cool. We got a shout out from Robert Meyer. I hope I'm saying it right, from Windsor, Ontario, just across the river from me here. I'm a little north of there, but hello, Robert. So yeah, the Rolling Stones. Yeah, and mine was Smothers Brothers. That's quite a difference in the genres. So,
Yeah.
but we also, going on trips up north to the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, we had this. I believe it was an old Ford. I forget what car it was. Brown Ford that had an 8-track player in it, and my dad used to play the Johnny Horton's Greatest Hits, and there was a song called Johnny Reb, and I must have been like, I don't know, 6, 7, maybe, or maybe younger, and I used to get the lyrics wrong because he said I fought all the way Johnny Reb. I always used to think he was saying Johnny Rip. So I always made sure I had paper or something in my hand. So when he sang that, I'd rip up this paper and throw it, and yeah, get a kick out of that. But yeah, Johnny Reb.
That's it's like, I mean, that was the music our parents were listening to, right? You just, like, you wouldn't, I don't know. I don't think the kids like a little bit older than that were listening to some of that stuff during that period. But
Yeah, he listened to, and he's matter of fact, I have a list on my desk right now of songs he wants me to put on his thumb drive for him, of old 50s and 60s songs. But he listened to everything from that to Elvis to Conway Twitty, just all different types of country and western and rock back then. So yeah, it's good times.
So you listened to your parents' music. What was the first purchase you got musically that you went out and spent your own money on or had someone buy for you, whatever?
So I think the first one that I purchased with my allowance was at Kmart, and I don't
Wait,
even
wait,
think it
wait, wait.
was
Is it Kmart or Kmart's?
Kmart's. Well, yeah,
It's a
um,
good joke.
yeah. Um, and it was probably more of my brother saying, "You need to get that record. You need to get that one," because I really didn't know, um, what to buy. So it was a 45 that I bought to put on the jukebox, and it was the Police, and the A side was, or maybe it was the B side. It was the do 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 and the da da da, and I had never even heard the song. And my brother's like, "You got to get that one." So of course, I always, I listen to my brother. He knows best, I guess. And so I got that, put it on the jukebox, and yeah, became a Police fan after that.
Very cool. I like the Police. It's
Yeah.
a good band. They're really, really good musicians too in their own right. Robert, yes. We did not hear that Ren's acoustic version of Murder was released today. So
Oh,
you may we have to go take a look at that. We were talking about doing a reaction on the show and decided we want to have a live show without the people who look for copyright information coming over the top and getting it so that we couldn't have this out there for people to look at later. We get it. Most people, won't be able to see this right now, and they'll probably have to look at it in off hours. But yeah, we didn't want that to happen. So will go and review this acoustic version of Murderer at some point. Got a lot of Ren on our list of reviews to do.
yeah, he's excellent. I love everything that's been recommended so far. Got a few of them, well, all of them that's been recommended on my playlist, and just listening to some today. So yeah, we'll definitely check out that Ren song for sure.
Thanks, Robert. So what were we talking about? Oh yeah, music purchases.
I know we got some more people out there. Let's. I'd like to hear from some of the other the people out there listening on our live channel or live broadcast. Yeah, it was where were we? Yeah, squirrels. This is stuff that gets edited out. So
Yeah,
we were talking about Sting, the Police,
the first
and
music.
your first purchase. We were going
Oh
to,
yeah. My first purchase was, well, I didn't buy it, but my parents got it for me, and it was the 45 single for Joan Jett and the Blackhearts. I Love Rock and Roll. And what's really odd about that is like the song was good. It was very popular. Everyone liked that song, but the B side to it was called "You Don't Know What You Got Until It's Gone," or "You Don't Know What You Got." I think they say that part in the chorus. But anyways, that was a really cool song. I like that song more than I like the other side, the original, the A side, right? So, but yeah, it
right.
was Jet and the Blackhearts 45. That I got, yeah.
All right. So yeah, once I got into buying stuff, there was no end in sight, and there still isn't. I mean, I'm constantly buying stuff from iTunes. So those were 45s. Well, then cassette tapes came out.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I think my first cassette. Wow, I don't know. Do you know what your first cassette was?
Steve Miller, Abracadabra.
Oh, all right. You know what? I do remember what mine is. It was Moving Pictures by Rush. I mean, that the album that came out in 81, and I bought it much later when I discovered Rush. But yeah, that was the first cassette that I remember buying. And then the CDs came out, and
CDs.
it's all these. I mean, some of our younger viewers are like, "What is a 40? What's a cassette? What's a you know?" But CDs. I got a CD player for Christmas, and my parents bought me Poison, Open Up and Say Ah, with the edited album cover.
Yeah.
'Cause there was two versions. I don't know if you knew that. Um,
That one.
So yeah, there's that one, and then there's one that was the full face, and it was she had a long like serpent type tongue coming out of her
Oh
mouth. And
yeah, yeah, that's right. I
yeah,
remember.
yeah, that one, and then I also got was it Unforgettable Fire
Okay.
or Live at Red Rocks? I think it was Unforgettable Fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. It's like we were prepared for this or something.
We might have done a little bit of pre-work. I don't know. You got my screen
Uh,
sharing game on today, Dave, for these pictures for sure. I remember I was there. I remember the first time I'd heard a CD. It was that CD at your house. I was over
yeah.
there. You're like,
Oh
check,
yeah, Poison.
what does it sound like? And it sounded like it was Every Rose Has Its Thorn. And it sounded like maybe my hearing was going at the time. I don't know. But it sounded like the guitar was in the room. The acoustic guitar was like right there. I'm like, you looking for who's playing the guitar right now? It was that clear. It was really cool. Of course, we've been listening to tapes and records for so long. That jump
Yeah, yeah,
sonically way better.
yeah.
Quality.
I'd love to have an experience where the music takes that type of jump again. But so Tom Gribble says his was Kiss Rock and Roll Over. Rock and Roll. Not sure if I know that one. I do remember playing the double is it double platinum live or one of the live Kiss albums in our basement. My brother had it, and my brother would get red Kool-Aid and let it ooze out of his mouth like Gene Simmons blood. We used to waste so much and make such a mess with that record.
Got to review Sturgill. Mikey says, I think I might know Mikey. Mikey says, got to review Sturgill Simpson's old band, Sunday Valley.
Not familiar with that
Familiar with that one either. I'm gonna have to copy that one down.
for sure.
Yeah.
So where are you guys from, Tom and Mikey?
See here. I'm gonna write that into our list real quick. It's gonna be a few minutes. We've discovered in our journeys that there is a bit of a delay between when we actually say stuff and when it gets up onto YouTube. So it's live, but it's like TV, it's a few minutes behind in case somebody does swear, but we're not going to do that on this show today.
Yeah, right.
Let's see here. Where's our list? I'm going to write that down before we lose it here. Reaction list. Thank you, Mikey. We'll add it.
Yeah, so live, so CDs was such a blessing. I mean, it was so great when the CDs came out. It was although playing them, you couldn't just walk around like you could with a Walkman and a cassette tape. You had to carry your portable CD player like very carefully. You hopefully had the shock, system built into it. And but yeah.
So we kind of talked about this subject on a number of occasions, but the whole it was the
Michigan.
introduction. Sorry.
No, Tom is like he's from Michigan.
Yeah,
Michigan.
Yeah.
All right.
The whole explicit lyrics warning labels, right? We were underage at the time that would have been introduced, so I think we were probably the first generation to experience like that kind of like restriction on music for people. What was your first tape, CD, album, whatever the heck it is, with that label, with that on it? I'd assume you were underage.
Oh,
Get in trouble.
no, I'm trying to think. It was I probably copied from somebody else's cassette because I wasn't allowed, I didn't buy it and I wasn't allowed to. But I think it might have been the Two Live Crew.
Wow.
Or I don't know. I didn't think about that one. It very well could have been Two Live Crew.
That's
which
I didn't think about that. Yeah, which is nothing for today.
Yeah,
not even close.
Yes. What about you?
It was Guns N' Roses' Appetite for Destruction. It had explicit lyrics, I guess. But yeah, so I had a guy that I worked with who was 18. I gave him the money, and if you go down to what was a music store on Van Dyke and Martin.
Oh,
and It's a thing of the past. So another
Yeah.
thing that's died off is the music store, and people bought me the tape. It was a cassette tape.
NWA Straight Outta Compton, maybe, or um, I think I did. I might have had Easy E's cassette also.
Yep, Tom says, and he had NWA. Let me get was Raising Hell?
No,
Was
uh, nope. Run DMC never swore in any of their albums. Up and I mean for quite a long time.
okay. Yeah, I couldn't remember if they did swear or anything like that in there.
Yeah.
So, but it wasn't swear. Was it swearing that really kicked people off, or was it suggestive material?
I don't know.
I mean, Two Live Crew, suggestive, right?
And
I don't know.
swearing.
And swearing.
NWA swearing for sure.
Swearing.
Easy
Yeah,
E, same thing.
swearing. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, that's another thing that's gone. Like we've talked about so many things that have gone away, like records, tapes. Well, actually, records are making a comeback. I don't think the cassette tape will, though. There was really nothing.
I think they have a little bit of collectible value now. I'm starting to see them pop up at the little local record stores, you know. So
But you
now
get
that, yeah,
the record player, you get the little crackle when you set it down, and you can hear it. You're like waiting for the music. What do you get with a cassette tape? That weird sound that would go through the frequency ranges, maybe at the end or the beginning of the tape.
yeah,
It would fall apart. It would unspool. You remember pencils? You had to do the little pen where you could turn it to get the cassette. There wasn't many things to me go, I would love to get a cassette player again and have to deal with that.
right.
It just doesn't seem like something I want to. Records, yes. So, what about the folks watching? Records, tapes, cassettes. Do you want to bring back the 8-track tape? Let us know. Let us know.
I like listening. I used to like listening to 8-tracks every now and then. Just they had that something about them.
Wasn't that you could hop from one track to another by pushing a button?
You could hop to, I think, a group. I think they were in like groups of 4 songs per track.
Okay.
Or 3 or something along that lines. Yeah, it was always tricky trying to figure out how to find the song you're looking for, but
yeah,
so
I guess that's what they would call it, an 8-track. But so
so if people hadn't noticed, you know, AJ and I both play the guitar.
what
Well,
you do?
well, at least I collect them. I don't know. I wouldn't call me a player.
Looks pretty
But,
sweet.
so do you remember when you decided or when you picked up your first guitar and what made you want to be a musician or play?
I mean, I got for my first communion, I got a guitar, an acoustic guitar. And I played it a little bit, but as most kids about 7 or 8, you just lose interest. I lost interest for a while. We still kept it. I carried it with me. We number of years, but like I think I was 15 or 16, and I was like really starting to get back into it. Like or not get into it, but like just to start to play guitar. But yes, I think that's about the age. And it was like, I mean, acoustic was like the communion thing when I had that forever, but like electric, I think it was a guitar I traded my Commodore 128 for.
Okay.
Yeah. What about you?
But real quick, looks like Tom's a bass player and he just remembers the car eating his cassette tape all the time. Yeah, that was the worst.
Yeah. So why would you want to bring back tape?
You hear the song go and all of a sudden you hear and you're like, stop, and you pull it and it's just like tape and you're like, oh, that one's done. So yeah, so me, I wasn't gifted a guitar at any time or anything. It was more we had some musicians in the family. On my mom's side, two of my uncles were in a band, and one was a guitar player and one was the drummer or singer. And they would play parties at our house or graduation parties, this and that. And I remember just being, focusing on the guitar, thinking that is the coolest thing. And then I used to spend a lot of time at my cousin Brian's house on my dad's side. and his brother Ronnie played guitar, played guitar and played in a band and played graduations, and he had a Fender Mustang that he had tie-dyed painted. It was the coolest thing. And he used to sit in his bedroom and play Rush. And I was probably, I don't know, sixth, seventh grade at the time, maybe eighth grade. I can't remember, but just watching, and I was like, and then it just one day I just like, all right, I got to get a guitar. You had gotten a guitar. We had made some goofy videos, lip syncing and playing guitars in the basement of our house,
With
my
no
house.
strings. If you remember, if you ever saw those videos, like there's no strings on the guitar at
No
all.
string. We would go to that jukebox, put a song on, and then pretend play in front of it. But
Yeah.
anyways, I picked up a little cheap $30 or $40 no name brand guitar from a friend of a friend, and um, took some lessons and trade in, trade up, trade in until I got my first real guitar. So, and then it just became a sickness, and I just had to keep buying and buying and buying.
There's
and
a support group for that.
yeah.
You never get over it.
Hmm.
Yeah. All right.
So moving along, we're almost what 24 minutes in.
Yeah. Do you think I mean, you take pretty good care of your equipment, right? But do you see these days like people are like they're spending tens of thousands of dollars for a guitar that looks like it just got beat up and just given to the worst band in the world that throws guitars around, and with no roadies and no case. You're gonna go on the road with this guitar and you can't have a case. So you're just gonna ding it up. Do you see those? Like,
Yeah, they're relics, and I don't. I mean, I love a well-worn, authentically worn old guitar. I think that's super, super cool. But for someone to build for Fender or whatever company to make a brand new guitar and then beat it up and sand it and make it look old,
yeah,
I just think that's I don't care for that. Yeah, I'm just not a fan of the fake relic guitars.
I mean, if I look at some of my guitars that I've had in the past that have been beaten up and dinged, but I can remember the stories of like, I did that. I went here, we played there. These are like, if I look at a brand new guitar that's been relic, you're like, well, where's the soul of this guitar? It's fake. It's like not even real. It's never been played. So yeah, just an interesting money making thing to have an old guitar.
The only way I would buy a relic guitar if it was, if you were buying a replica of Stevie Ray Vaughan or Frankenstrat, Eddie Van Halen, or something like that, and you wanted it to look exactly like the one that they played, then I think that's sweet. I mean, I'd love to have a relic Frankenstrat, Eddie Van Halen. But other than that, it's just not my thing.
Yeah. Tom's got a beat up Denon crate bass rig. Nice. I bet it's got great tone too. Like the crate amps are pretty cool.
Yeah, I always like the sound of the crate bass amps. I think my cousin had one of those, or no, was that maybe it was a crate. I can't remember, but Dean, I think I have a Dean acoustic. I think I do. I have a black Dean acoustic that I don't play. It's missing I think it's missing the nut. I got it from a neighbor who had borrowed and lost two of my Premier, microphones, SM57 and an SM58. Borrowed them, lost them both. And he's like, I can give you this guitar. And I was like, don't loan out your good stuff.
No, keep it. Sell it if you want to. Oh, you want this? And then if you come back with the stuff, I'll give you the money back.
Right.
It's called a deposit, maybe. I don't know. The corn sound. Tom says he's got the corn sound. That is pretty cool.
We had talked about that in one of our other big shows. What would you call it? The big show about that corn bass sound where it's almost like the low E or the E string is slapping when it's like hitting the the pickups, and it makes that sound, and it's like that. I think Korn was one of the first bands that did that, and I always thought that was pretty cool. I'm not sure if that's how the sound is created or what, but I know the sound he's talking about. That is cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Chord sound. Very cool. All right. How are we doing on time here? Oh, we're doing great. We don't even have any time. We could do this for shoot the reaction video marathon. Should we do it?
Yeah, no.
Hour
Our 6 viewers will dwindle down to 0 quickly.
hour 35 of reaction videos.
We appreciate. Oh, we got 7 now. Appreciate all our viewers. If you're just chiming in or tuning in, let us know where you're watching from. I was tuned to A.
Ooh. So that's like D, C, D. That's like 2 whole steps down if I did the math right. What? Does the string even stay tuned to A? Wow. 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 All right. Relic guitars, top 5. All right. So let's talk a little bit about the future of Dude.
You have a future?
I don't know. We wrote it down. It was like one of our things we said we might talk about. I'm being very vulnerable right now for both of us here. We're showing our notes a little bit, but
We're
yeah.
just over 1,200 subscribers. And we're about a year and a half in, maybe a little over a year and a half.
Yeah.
We said we'd do a live show at 1,000 viewer subscribers, and we'll probably do more live shows if people like them, and maybe when we hit 2,000 or 5,000, I don't know, we'll see. But what is the future of the Dude Show?
I just wanted to say thank you for those watching live and commenting, and the folks might be watching this later on. We really appreciate you liking and subscribing, and then sharing with everybody. Yeah, we do this tape Dude reaction videos about every other week, maybe in a good case. Sometimes it's every week, and we love the feedback. We love hearing the new music that we've seen, that I've seen. We both have seen together over the last year and a half has been pretty cool, and it's a lot of it can be attributed to the subscribers who do check this out. So we really appreciate it.
Yeah, we've discovered some new bands, and yeah, I am grateful. I mean, yeah, there's been some great bands, like Ren and 21 Pilots. Although I've known of 21 Pilots, but just some of the stuff that they've put out, and their live stuff has been incredible. And bands like Emigrate or Aesthetic Perfection, I would have never heard of these bands if it wasn't for this channel.
Yeah, and we got to terrify you with Poppy.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to bring it up. Maybe you'll be able to sleep better tonight. I don't know.
And Ghost,
yes. Okay, moving on. Moving on. So,
yeah, but we primarily do the reactions, but we do some other content as well. We do these, what we call the big show, or we'll pick a few topics, talk about it. We do some reviews of guitar gear, some how-tos, some goofy little digital shorts.
yes, those are fun. Those are fun. What Ginger is that a suggestion? We got Tom said Ginger, Jinjer. I'm writing it down. I'm gonna go look and see it. I don't know. I'm gonna go Google search this first. No, I'm gonna go YouTube first, because I do not want to do that on lead singer. Okay, so this is an artist. I mean, I'll screen share it right now, Dave, but I'm not gonna play it. Or will we get in trouble for that too?
we should get in trouble for just showing it.
All right. So this is what here we go. Tom suggests it was this Jinjer. I'm assuming it's Ginger.
Napalm Records. I'm assuming that's more of a
Heavy.
heavy metal.
Yeah, I'm counting the strings there. That looks like a 7-string, maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah. Oh yeah, it's a ginger metal band music. Yeah, absolutely. We will check it out, Tom.
Maybe we'll actually check it out after we're done recording this live session,
We
or
can do.
or early next week.
We'll make the call after the call,
Yeah.
after the session. So, all right, check it out. We will. Oh, actually, you just said check it out. We will. We will, Tom. We will check it out.
So we got a couple other topics. I don't know if we want to really get it too deep into them. When a band loses one of its members, whether it's a death or just circumstances where they just no longer are part of the band, and you have replacement members, sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. The first one I always think of is Metallica. When Cliff Burton passed away, they replaced him with Jason Newsted. I don't know. How do you think that went?
I'll be honest with you. I didn't start listening to Metallica till And Justice for All, and Newsted was already playing bass at that time. So I wasn't like one of those early Metallica adopters, but I can assume that a lot of folks were like, there's not a noticeable difference, I think, in the playing between the two. Well, it could be arguable, but like I felt like from my perspective that they both were solid bass players. I don't think it changed the band, because that's I think another thing you worry about is like, oh, there's this new artist and they're going to change the band. It's going to sound different. So, but yeah, I didn't have a lot of heartburn over it. You? How about you?
Yeah, I was kind of the same thing. I didn't really get into Metallica until just before the Black Album came out. Matter of fact, it was the first time I ever heard a Metallica song was when up in my bedroom you brought your guitar over and you were showing me how to play Am I Evil. And I didn't even know the song, but I knew how to play the main riff, because and that led me to look them up and check out some of their stuff and some of their older stuff. But yeah, Jason Newsted, I think he fit in well, in my perspective, or my opinion. We did go see him live. That was like the first concert we went to together.
Yeah.
We saw the Black Album live, and I thought he was incredible. I think he was previously in Flotsam and Jetsam, and then moved on over to Metallica. And I would have to imagine that the people who were already fans of Metallica were grateful that they continued, and somewhat seamlessly, I would think. But there might have been some, some Cliff Burton fans who were just, nothing was going to be able to replace them, and probably I don't know if they continued being fans or not, but yeah, when they switched, when Jason left, I kind of think they went into retirement mode. Even though they put out albums, they just haven't been the same since Jason Newsted had left the band.
Yeah, I don't. No, I take it back. I was going to say I don't have any more Metallica albums beyond the Black Album. I didn't get any, but I did get. I don't know the name of it right now. Maybe Saint Anger, but there's an ending to the TV show Billions, and the music was like, what is that? That's awesome. So I had to Shazam it, and found out it was a Metallica song. I'm like, what? Really? I think it was off of Reload, but that was the only other album I got after the Black Album. I lost interest in them, I guess. And the other thing that happened was after the Black Album, grunge just broke, right? And everyone was like, yeah, I'm heavy metal, but I'm looking at this other genre of music that's pretty cool too right now. So, yeah. Anyways, I don't know how we got on that subject. I lost track. I squirreled.
We're talking about band members who
Oh,
died,
that's-
and
yeah.
I think one of the more successful transition was Bon Scott to Brian Johnson for AC/DC. Similar, somewhat similar voice.
Yeah.
Um, you know, what was the Back in Black was the first album after Bon Scott. Um, and yeah, I thought that was probably one of the better replacement singers. Yeah, Alice in Chains. I saw Alice in Chains for the Dirt tour in a somewhat smaller venue. That was Lane Staley. They've replaced them, and they're kind of like I almost consider them more like the world's greatest Alice in Chains cover band now. It's just not the same. I mean, nobody can replace Lane Staley.
Yeah.
The music sounds great. The backup vocals, everything still sounds good. It's just not the same. So
You think they can't. Well, there's another example. Like they just can't replace. Can't
yeah,
replace.
yeah. Same with Scott Weiland and Stone Temple Pilots. And when we thought about this topic, I could only think of a couple, but now they're starting to just pour in. When Michael Hutchins died, from lead singer of INXS,
That was it.
they rolled in singer after singer after singer, but they just were not. I mean, they were just cover band at that point. I mean,
Michael Hutchins had a very unique voice that really made INXS, I felt.
well, his whole essence made INXS.
Yeah.
He had a great, voice that fit them. He had the look, he had the movements. And I mean, yeah, that was like, at the time, it's like you only knew one member's name of the band. I mean, and that was him. I mean, I like, even today, I couldn't name any other members in Stone Temple Pilots or, some of those bands. It was the singers are the band in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
What other bands are where they're like that?
That lost somebody, or just were like,
Yeah, well, the Leonard Skinner had that where half the band pretty much died in a plane crash. Um, but to me, hearing like live shows from them or live sets, it's almost like they didn't really miss, because whoever filled in for uh, um, Ronnie Van Zant did a good job. I mean, that Southern rock style blended well.
with the Foo Fighters, Josh Freese, their new drummer.
Yeah, that's a big one. That's a big one. It's probably less noticeable as somebody in the background, like a drummer. I mean, they're a definite huge part of the sound. We haven't heard any new stuff with him on it. They just put out that album earlier, a couple months ago, but that was Dave playing drums. So
Yeah.
I think until we hear a new album with Josh on it, it'll, the jury's still out on him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Soundgarden.
There was a
another one.
video we watched a while back on them doing like a rehearsal on a closed set, with Josh. And I was watching facial expressions of everyone else, like reading like who doesn't like this guy, who's like, I got the feeling that like it was still being forced on them, or it was too new and they weren't not ready to accept that Taylor was no longer their drummer, right? Like it was this weird vibe, just watching all of them looking at each other and playing, and not really, I don't know, it wasn't the level of engagement you would expect from the Foo Fighters, right? With each
Right.
other, with each other.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't think of anybody else. There's probably some obvious ones out there. I mean, there's been a lot of replacement singers, members, and whatnot. The whole Van Halen fiasco with the three different singers over their career. But
Mick Jagger.
yeah, but far as you know, the ones where they're replacing somebody who passed away, that's a tough one. You know, there's some bands that just, as far as I know, they tried to carry on but really couldn't. I mean, Blind Melon, did they go on after Shannon Hoon died? I don't, they may have done something, but certainly not anything noteworthy or that was commercial that I'm aware of. And I'm trying to think of some other ones. I can't think of any offhand. But
I'm looking on the Wikipedia for Blind Melon, and it looks like, yeah, they were active from 1990 to 99, and then 2006 to present. So sounds like they maybe took a break and then kicked back in again. It's interesting.
yeah. Yeah, and you had bands like Queen who you know, picked up and started touring again with the I forget who that young guy is. But they've had a couple different singers. I think they had Paul Rogers sang with them for a while. And then bands like the Doors had a guest singer to do some live stuff, but it's hard to replace, you know, big personalities like that and be successful.
Yeah, definitely. What we doing on the channel, the chat channel? I got all these things popped up on my screen. Soundgarden, yeah, that's another great band.
Yeah, they were just getting back together and recording stuff when that happened. Then
When Chris Cornell died, yeah.
yeah,
How
Yeah.
old was
what's that?
how old was he? Hold on, let me
I don't
see.
know. I'd say I think he'd be in his late 40s, early 50s.
Yeah, he was 52.
52. Okay.
Yeah.
So
All right. So we wrap this puppy up.
yeah, our first live one without if I were to take this recording and go back, I probably wouldn't have as much editing as I would during one of our normal shows. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. So yeah, it's and a relatively technically, we didn't run into challenges or glitches, so I think we pulled it off here.
Yeah.
Move to the next advanced stage, which is like interactive videos and I don't know, whatever they do, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we gotta figure out how we can actually play our instruments while online together.
Yeah. All right. Well, this has been the only edition of Dude. Check this out live on YouTube.
Yeah. Thanks for those that joined us for the live, our first live episode. Help us spread the word and get some more subscribers. So like, subscribe, the usual for those that are watching this.
They've already done that, maybe?
What's that?
Have they already done that, maybe?
Yeah, they have, but they could tell a friend,
Tell a friend.
or the people that are now watching this in the future that are not watching it live and they're new, they stumble across this, like and subscribe. We don't have the little button things set up, but
Can't do that.
ding.
All right. Take care,
So,
everybody.
all right, see y'all.